Hi everyone. In this video we will add the page setup so that we can turn it into a PDF. Since the last video I have renamed the plots accordingly. There might be a bit of variation from the other options that were given out at an earlier stage, but the process is the same. The next stage then is to create a layout and then do the plot as a PDF. I know that there are these layouts down here that do have a couple of layouts that might work. However, I feel it's probably beneficial to create a new layout. So at the moment it's called layout 1. We'll just leave it like that. I'm going to go to the output tab and choose page setup manager and click modify. And what we want to choose is DWG to PDF. Effectively, this is setting up as a plotter, but it will save a PDF at the end. Page size, we're going to choose ISO full bleed A3. What that means is it gives edge to edge because it's full bleed. What the plot layout is correct. That means that we will be plotting exactly what's visible on the page. And then for the scale, we want that to be a scale of 1:1. For the plot style, we will choose monochrome. And at this stage, then I think everything else is set up okay. I'm going to click OK. And what that has done in the meanwhile, it has now made it look as if the viewport shrank, but it didn't. So let's go back to the Home tab and just create a box of 10 by 10. We don't want it to go too close to the edge just so there's no issues. Okay, and I'm going to copy that down to the other corner just so that we have a little margin of a border around the edge of the page. And what we can do with the viewport then is just bring it to those points of the squares, and then we can delete the squares. Now I have realized that in the meanwhile it's put that on the GA plot names layer. So what we should really do is create a new layer and call it GA viewport. I'm going to change the color to yellow. Click OK, close that down, and then just put that viewport on that layer. Now, as you can see, there's nothing in the viewport at the moment. If we double click inside the viewport, notice that it flips to model space here rather than saying paper. And if we double click with the middle mouse button, that will show us everything that is available at the present time. So let's just double click here to go back out of that, or you can flip between model and paper space by clicking here. Just if you happen to be zoomed in and you double click, that will flip the model space, and you might try zooming in and out here and not get anywhere in paper space. You need to click on model to flip back to model space. That's how you can mess up your scale as well. So come to think of it, I probably should be deleting that line. That was a temporary line earlier. And also what we can do is delete. No, better not delete the layout actually. Delete the layout from here. Can we? No, not really. We need to move all of this from the center point here to the center point there. We do have two of the polylines now, so we can delete the duplicate and go back to the layout then. I guess at this stage we want to be zoomed in a reasonable amount so we know what we're going to see. Now we do need to leave some space for the title block. So I guess if you have a title block of some sort, I don't know, let's say 50 by 200, what does that look like? No, I've done that the wrong way around. Title block of, let's say 150, 50. Okay, we can move that here. And let's just draw a couple of lines for reference. I'm going to delete that viewport and actually create a new viewport. So if we go to layout and choose polygonal, we can create a title block or a polyline that meets the title block, and the viewport will be created accordingly. Let's just, well, you may wish to leave those lines in there so that the title block does meet with the outline of the page. What you might want to do, you see, is if we go to layer properties, you might want to make the viewport non-printing. Sometimes when you've got different viewports, you don't want that to print. So let's double click inside the viewport and zoom in a certain amount to try and get that placed. It's not quite close enough, so let's choose the polyline, go to properties. You might need to right click and go to properties. Let's just see, go to viewport rather than polyline and choose, let's try zooming in slightly more maybe. We can double click inside that and pan over slightly and come back out. We're almost ready, so you do need your title block information in here. I would advise you to be adding your own name, your ID number, the module name, the module code, the date. In this case, it's not the scale, but if there was a scale, your title block should have that. It should have your company name and logo. And one final thing that we want to add is a north point. So let's copy that over from the blocks drawing. Really, I should have that renamed as blocks. Now, because the scale of this is quite large, it's going to need to be scaled down. So let's use a scale point here, make it 0.05, see what that looks like. It's a good bit smaller, but it's still too big. We can move it on a bit closer. Let's try a scale of 0.1 again. Okay, so let's move that up. There's still room for title block there. I guess at this point we really want that to be on the title block layer. So I'm happy enough with the way everything is showing there for now. I'm just going to type in regen all. Okay. And then we go to output, page setup manager. I know it's called layout one at the moment. We can check everything seems to be okay there. And as a final stage, then you can click plot. We just want to do a single plot in this case. Click preview. Everything is showing okay. The only red line we want really is the boundary, so that's fine. I can right click and choose plot. And then at this point, it's going to ask me where I want to save that. So basically, you can choose anywhere you want. If you have OneDrive or Dropbox on your machine, you can directly save to those or save to the hard drive. If you are saving in the CAD lab, save temporarily and then save some other way. I'm not going to save that personally because I don't need that right now, but hopefully that shows you everything you need to do for the first submission.